Coming up in our newscast tonight, Christians of the Diocese of Boya and beyond continue widening their understanding on procedures laid down by the Roman Catholic Church for effective worship life. His Lordship Michael Bibi, through his televised program Know Your Faith on DMR TV earlier today, examined another part of the Roman Missal with focus on duties and ministries during Mass. Meanwhile, the prelate over the weekend led his flock to the holy hills of Bojongo for this year's Advent pilgrimage. And activities marking the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights took place here in Boya yesterday. December 10 usually commemorates International Human Rights Day. Those were our top stories on this first edition of Divine Mercy Prime on DMR TV. More of those stories and will be yours in the minutes ahead. Good evening and welcome to Divine Mercy Prime. It is a delight to kickstart the week by bringing to you more news-making events within the Diocese of Boya and beyond. The Bishop of Boya, His Lordship Michael Bibi, in his weekly doctrinal delivery today, focused on duties and ministries in the Holy Mass. He equally highlighted the need for proper preparation before exercising any liturgical function in relation to the various ministries in the Church. This was at St. Charles Luanga Parish in Moliko this day while delivering knowledge on his program Know Your Faith. Father Martin Gier gives us details.
Teaching about duties and ministries in the Mass, the Chief Shepherd of the Diocese of Boya, His Lordship Michael Bibi, noted that the celebration of the Eucharist is an action of Christ and also an action of the Church, meaning it is a whole body of the people of God that celebrates the Eucharist. The members of the body of Christ celebrate the Eucharist with different functions. There are functions carried by ordained ministers such as deacons, priests, and bishops. But the bishops enjoy the fullness of the priesthood because they are the immediate successors of the apostles. Those who are ordained ministers belong to the hierarchy of the Church, and the priest, who presides over the liturgy of the Holy Eucharist, must celebrate the Eucharist with utmost dignity, humility, reverence, and in noble simplicity. This is because whatever rite is performed, it should convey the presence of Christ.
The general instruction of the Roman Missal mentions in paragraph 93 that the priest who preside during the celebration of the Eucharist must make sure that they celebrate the Eucharist with the utmost dignity and humility that is demanded by their office. And that they should be careful the way they pronounce the words during liturgical celebration. And they must make sure that whatever action they carry out on the altar conveys the presence of Christ in their action.
Some of the functions and ministries that can be performed by the lay faithful are acolytes, lectors, psalmists, the choir, instrumentalists, commentators, the sacristans, and many others. The bishop noted that all those with ministries should endeavor to participate actively by preparing and practicing very well before performing their ministries. Present at St. Charles Luanga Parish, the Christian faithful never remained lukewarm or indifferent. He also participated fully in this session.
This teaching was very, very interesting. I loved it so much. And the fact that there are different functions and we need to know them. From the priest, the bishop himself, the acolytes, the choir, everybody in church. So I was so pleased. And what struck me personally was that of even the readers, what they call, is it the acolytes? The lectors, yes, the lectors have to prepare. It's very, very, very necessary, because sometimes some of them read and then they mix up the words, you cannot get it. Especially during mass intentions, they read names, even these local names, the Christian names, some of them don't pronounce them well. So I think it is very necessary that those who are in charge should make sure that they practice this, because when we practice, we can do it better.
The prelate concluded his teaching of the day by noting that there is harmony expected of all the Christian faithful, with effective preparation as far as duties and ministries are concerned in liturgical celebration.
Christians of the Diocese of Buea, alongside a host of priests, seminarians, all converged on the hills of Regina Angelorum Pilgrimage Center in Bojongo during the weekend for this year's Advent pilgrimage. It is a tradition that has been holding in the Diocese of Buea over the years. This pilgrimage was accompanied with a host of spiritual activities alongside Holy Mass. Joseph Otop gives us a recap of how the Advent pilgrimage unfolded over the weekend in Bojongo.
Christians of the Diocese of Buea once more gathered during the weekend at the Regina Angelorum Parish, Bojongo, for the annual Diocesan Advent pilgrimage, a tradition that has been in the diocese over the years, where Christians ascend the holy hills of Bojongo in memorial of the passion and death of Christ and in hope of being purified during this Advent period. Just like every other year, there was the praying of the Stations of the Cross, the Rosary, reconciling through the Sacrament of Reconciliation, and Holy Mass, which was presided at by the Chief Shepherd of the Diocese of Buea, the Most Reverend Michael Bibi.
Number 7 station. Jesus is fall for number 2 time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Because by a holy cross we have the world.
Jesus enough waka again. He cross and make it fall again for down. Soldier they flog ye with rope. They knock ye with stick. Jesus he wake up. He try again for go before for up for Calvary.
The pilgrimage saw the presence of priests of the Diocese of Buea, seminarians and Christians who came in their number from the nooks and crannies of the diocese. Pilgrims who participated in this spiritual activity say they are living happy and fulfilled and hope for this to come frequent.
I feel happy, I feel relieved. It be like say I be get some plenty cack of my skin where I don't come now, so I don't leave them for year. I don't leave all that cack for year, so I go back lighter and happier.
We have come and we have harvested the graces that at least through his benevolence the Lord has showered upon us.
Each time I hear of Bojongo pilgrimage, it's like it rings a bell in my brain. I've always longed to be there. So I can never hear Bojongo and I don't go for pilgrimage, because I know when I go there, my life will never remain the same. I wish that this program, the Bojongo program, should cut every month, because really it's a life-changing situation for some of us who know what we come to do in church.
I really feel my skin light, and I thank God, say, I no come here only me one. As I come for here, I come with all my family inside my heart.
They as well had a take-back-home message for Christians who were unavoidably absent.
My take-home message be say, I just beg all of them, say me them try, except those them way they know well, those the way they sick, because of their ill health, they don't come for join all we for this prayer for here the talk where Papa Bishop he give we today, where it been for prepare we to for receive Jesus Christ, where they come in future. So I tell them, say next time they try, if health worry them.
I would like to tell them that next time whatever thing is keeping them away, they should keep it aside and draw closer to God. God first, then any other thing can come.
The Advent season reminds us about the importance of Christ in our lives, prepare us to celebrate Christ's birth at Christmas, and refers to his second coming at a future time.
Equally taking stock of their spiritual journey so far as they open a new liturgical calendar, and this was during the Buea Diocesan Advent Pilgrimage that held in Regina Angelorum Pilgrimage Center in Bojongo over the weekend, where the Christians gathered to fortify themselves ahead of Christmas. Nadesh Meh gives us details in this report.
Solemn prayers and singing set the stage for the 2023 Buea Diocesan Advent Pilgrimage at the Regional Angelorum Pilgrimage Center in Bojongo. The one-day spiritual event had the pilgrims ascend the Station of the Cross, making confessions and praying the Rosary. Then came exposition of the Blessed Sacrament and the celebration of the Holy Mass by the chief spiritual leader of the diocese. During his homily focusing on self-evaluation, Bishop Michael Beebe emphasized on the importance of nourishing oneself spiritually and making decisions to grow in faith. To him, as far as the spiritual journey is concerned, Christians should be humble and walk according to the commandments of God.
Whenever we evaluate ourselves, we can always say we get positives. So some things and they will be doing and will be doing very well. At the same time, we go see them say some things and they will be doing and will not be doing fine. An opportunity this way God did give them for we. As we do already for inside the number 1 week for the new liturgical year, for prayer and for us God, as we don't make this holy journey for a year. So make God, He go help we, for make resolutions them, for take decisions them, where then go help we for be converted, for the things and what we do where it not been help we for grow for inside we believe. The things that we do where it not been help we for grow for inside with spiritual life. The things that we do where be also affect the belief and the spiritual life for we brothers and we sisters. We come before God therefore with a spirit of humility, for ask God for forgiveness and for the graces where we need them, so that we'll continue for stuff for the way He want them.
As these Christians gather for the spiritual exercise with their personal intentions, the prelate, His Lordship Michael Beebe, laid emphasis on the significance of the steps present in front of the Regional Angelorum Church, in which Christians can reflect on as far as the spiritual center is concerned.
One of the things where it make this hill, it be special way sometime when they come for here, we know they realize it be at these very steps way we look for we before. If you look these steps, we go see say the first group of steps them being at 12. And these 12, it represent the 12 apostles them. We hear for inside the gospel passage today, how Jesus he called the 12 disciples them and he sent them out on a mission. The second group of steps them being at 10. And this second group of steps then they represent the 10 commandments. The 10 commandments them, where them being at the ways them where God did propose them for we, on how we live with life for this ground, in order for stuff for where He find, and where we go make them, may we share with you at the end of our life for inside the King country for heaven. The next group of steps them being at 7. And the 7 steps then they represent the 7 sacraments them for church. Then another group of steps them they went at 4. And the steps when are 4, then they represent the 4 gospels. Then we get another group of steps, and we then being at 3, where then they represent the Blessed Trinity.
The long-awaited Boya Diocesan Advent Pilgrimage wrapped up with the Bishop, His Lordship Michael Beebe, appreciating the thousands of Christians drawn from the 40 different parishes across the diocese for braving all odds to make it to the Hills of Angels for spiritual fortifications ahead of Christmas celebration.
We now take you over to the Diocese of Mamfe, where seminarians of John Paul II Seminary, Bachro in Mamfe, have been called to be holy and live a Christ-like life as they received their clerical garment. This was during a Holy Mass presided at by the Bishop of Mamfe, Monsignor Aloysius Fondom, on Friday, the 8th of December 2023, as the Universal Church commemorated the solemnity of the Immaculate Conception. We have details with Gillian Tata Yenla.
Dressed in their clerical garments with the color white, which signifies purity, these seminarians from across the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda have received these sultans' vocation to be Catholic priests. During the Eucharistic celebration, the bishop in his homily explained the significance of clerical garments as quoted by Pope John Paul II.
It is a sign of the consecration of the sacred ministers to God and their public ministry in the church. A sign of the consecration and a sign of their public ministry in the church. Through the act of reception of the Sultan, our brothers today, following the example of our Immaculate Mother, we publicly declare their intention to make themselves entirely available to whatever it is the Lord is asking them to do in His church. It is therefore important, my dear sons, that you do not see this rite as merely a fulfillment of an ecclesiastical requirement.
Having received these garments, these seminarians are reminded to emulate Christ in their service in the church, despite their unworthiness.
This color white signifies purity, and it is a reminder to us to live lives which are reflecting that of Christ, and also a call to serve God among our fellow brothers and sisters in Christ.
Many are living with joy and gladness as they are vested in their white sultans, looking forward to uphold the teachings of the church and the call to priesthood.
Today I have received my clerical garment. I'm very happy and I'm grateful to God in a special way that He has given me this opportunity, despite my unworthiness, to receive this garment. This garment is serving for me as a sign of purity. So I pray that God will continue to give me that grace to remain pure and focus on the path He has for me.
The Eucharistic celebration ended with songs as these seminarians danced to the altar of God in praise and thanksgiving.
The Cameroon Human Rights Commission Southwest Branch on Sunday, December 10th, 2023, commemorated the International Human Rights Day under the theme Consolidating and Sustaining Human Rights Culture in the Future. Barrister Tambe Tiku, representative of the region during the event of the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, declared war on perpetrators of human rights violations. Sharon Tita participated in this 75th celebration. She brought back this report.
The International Human Rights Day, which is commemorated every December 10, was celebrated this year with a walk from Malingo Junction to the Boya Moliko Omi Sports Stadium by the Cameroon Human Rights Commission Southwest Branch and some human rights club members who are students in some prestigious higher learning institutions in Boya, like Chitekma, Fomik Polytechnic, amongst others, headed by Barrister Tambe Tiku. In celebrating this day, the young human rights activists carried placards with strong messages advocating for the protection of human rights in the society.
They are victims or witnesses Human rights.
Equity and freedom.
Rule is the violation of the rule of law. Human rights.
Equity and freedom.
This year's International Human Rights Day, which is being celebrated under the Consolidating and Sustaining Human Rights Culture in the Future, doubles as the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted on December 10, 1948. Barrister Tambe Tsiku, the head of the Cameroon Human Rights Commission Southwest Branch, on his part shed light on the theme of this year's International Human Rights Day.
Today is the 75th anniversary of the International Human Rights Day. It carries the theme consolidating and sustaining human rights in the future. Ideally, international human rights has challenged traditional concepts of state sovereignty, where rights could be violated on the grounds of state sovereignty. Today, it is a universal issue. These are rights which are alienable, and no one has the right to compromise or to violate these rights.
He equally stressed on some of the prevalent human rights violation cases recorded in the Southwest region, like arbitrary arrest, while declaring war on perpetrators of human rights violation.
We also have cases of arbitrary arrest, and this whole issue of bail is becoming a turning issue in our flesh, where we, especially Moleko police station, has been noted for detaining people illegally and receiving huge sums of money in the form of bail. So bail, we insist that bail is free, and we have had the opportunity of also confronting the commissioner in charge of Moleko police station to stop all these forms of violations.
Azinyi Raymond, Human Rights Club president at Fomik Polytechnic, added his voice to that of Barrister Tambe Tsiku by emphasizing on some human rights violation cases faced by the youth in the society.
Problem that I have realized in our community that most youths are facing is the police and the gendarmes' brutality. That when a police officer meets up a youth at the street, he simply asks the youth his cell phone and get access to the cell phone without the right or the permission of the youth, whereas it's not something good to demonstrate, because as a police officer, when you want to get access to a person's phone to get access to, at least you need to show a document or a search warrant that gives a right for you to get access to the youth's phone.
These young human rights activists are expected to fight against human rights violation by consolidating and sustaining human rights culture in the future.
Before we draw the curtains of tonight's newscast, let us take you out of the country to give you some news-making events from that end. Egyptians have started voting on Sunday in a presidential election set to hand Abdel Fattah al-Sisi a third term in power as the country grapples with an economic crisis and a war on its border with Gaza. And Uganda has imposed a ban on the sale of beef products as authorities struggle to contain a severe outbreak of anthrax. We have details of these stories in this report with Laura Asongani.
Polling stations opened Sunday for Egyptians to vote in the presidential election, overshadowed by war in neighboring Gaza, and with little doubt that the incumbent Abdel Fattah al-Sisi will secure a third term. In a country gripped by the most severe financial crisis in its recent history, inflation has hovered near 40% after the currency lost half its value and drove up the cost of imports. The economy is the crux of Egyptians' concerns. Even before the current crisis, about two-thirds of the country's nearly 106 million people were living on or below the poverty line. Before polls opened at 9 a.m., dozens of voters had already crowded in front of a polling station in a central Cairo school amid heavy security. The voting, which started on Sunday, will continue until Tuesday between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. each day with the official results announced on December 18. Some 67 million people are eligible to vote, and all eyes will be on turnout after successive previous elections mustered low participation figures. Despite Egypt's afflictions, a decade-long crackdown on dissent has eliminated any serious opposition to Sisi, the fifth president to emerge from within the ranks of the military since 1952. Under his rule, Egypt has jailed thousands of political prisoners, and while a presidential pardons committee has freed around 1,000 in 1 year. Uganda has imposed a ban on the sale of beef products as authorities struggle to contain a severe anthrax outbreak originating in the Equatorial district of the central region. Reports indicate that at least 17 people